Attraction: How Visual Targeting Steers Our Choices. Written and read by Stephen Kronick. Dedicated to the Dreamers. Chapter 1, Genesis. Washington, D.C. City Club, 1 a.m. The gold tie's loosened, and the top button of the dress shirt that it wraps is unbuttoned. An ambitious and exhausted young man reclines in a mahogany wood chair, the kind with the brown patterned leather and high back that is seen in other similar country clubs and movie scenes from The Godfather. The top button of his custom-tailored suit is still buttoned, supporting the relaxed tie with loose collar combination, with a perfect contrast of class and perseverance into the dark of the night to keep thinking. A drink in hand, one leg comfortably crossed over the other, the young executive society's governor is deciding his destiny. In front of him, a 50-inch flat-screen plasma TV speaks of wars and genocides, but he is so caught up in his vision that he doesn't even hear the waiter in the tuxedo as he asks him, "Would there be anything else I can do for you tonight, sir?" After the second time the question is asked, the governor replies, "No, Jonathan, everything is perfect. Have a great night, and thank you." This is how this journey began. I had just fired my longtime business manager, as well as my main sales and marketing man. After weeks of consideration, it was clear that my vision had outgrown their perspectives, and it felt bittersweet to no longer be able to work with such excellent people. However, this particular voyage required every detail to be perfect, especially the team. It had to be truly first class, sharing a common grand vision. I did what I had to do. As if letting go of two of the most important people in my rapidly growing design and marketing agency wasn't enough, there was an even greater sacrifice that this grander journey and more righteous vision required. For more than 5 years, I had fought age barriers, financial barriers, education barriers, and the obvious stereotypical obstacles of entrepreneurship to build a highly competitive full-service advertising and corporate branding firm that was now booming. But this vision required that I let it go too. It required my 100% dedication in every way. For more than 4 full hours, that mahogany wood chair comforted my late-night tired body with its patent leather, while my mind, in a silent trance, decided what to do. To pursue a high-risk journey that came as a revelation and a discovery of sorts, and could possibly save the world in several tangible ways, or to take the safe route and ride out a blossoming design marketing agency to its fullest potential, keeping the guarantee of wealth and comfort. But the real question was this: for me alone or for the world, should I live my life? When it became that clear, again I did what I had to do. A clean slate formed before me, filled only with unparalleled experiences, secret knowledge, a better vision of the future, and faith in the world. It seemed about time to call it a night. Visual Targeting was born inside a full-service design and marketing agency. While working with dozens of corporate clients around the globe, the agency decided to compete by eliminating hourly rates, usually in the hundreds, and replacing them with secure, guaranteed per-project fees. It was in fact this radical and pioneering move that caused the agency to boom, and that laid down the foundation to the eventual discovery and development of visual targeting. Like Tipping Point's author Malcolm Gladwell said, little things can make a big difference. See, agency clients were now guaranteed to be 100% satisfied with their various designs, advertisements, and other marketing materials, no matter how many times a design would have to be retailored to their evolving desires. The key was that no additional fees were charged for such revisions. At this time, the design industry's standard practice was to draft a proposal with a projected price based on hourly rates, and company after company would call us complaining that they're paying other agencies 2 or 3 times more than they agreed to in their proposals. And many of them still weren't happy with the designs. Eliminating this primary industry complaint obviously caused customer satisfaction to skyrocket, and word of the bold design and marketing agency spread rapidly through chambers of commerce, boards of trade, executive societies, and other boardrooms and business circles. Clients came running to work with us, uniquely guaranteed satisfaction and price, and referred more and more friends, while writing countless letters of gratitude. Business was very good, to say the least. So if business was so good, then why did I decide in that oh so comfortable mahogany wood chair to move on? The answer, one that may be referred to as a leap of faith, was quite simple. The agency's bold move to eliminate hourly rates brought forth a revelation. While attracting an abundance of satisfied customers, it revealed a true problem in the current design world. As designers, we are generally paid to create art that is both beautiful and gets our clients' bottom line business results. However, when it comes down to practice, there were 2 factors that seemed to make the biggest difference in the actual final decisions regarding which designs were to be used in the client's marketing efforts. 1, what the designers thought looked best, and 2, what the client thought looked best. Naturally, without any alternatives, that's how it worked. Since there was no way of knowing comprehensively in advance neither what the client or his target market would actually respond best to prior to investing to creating and testing a limited amount of design options, countless billions of dollars were being invested daily, mostly with individuals' intuitions as the foundations for the investment decisions. But there was no way to actually know exactly which designs would bring the highest profits. In fact, the World Advertising Research Center estimates that in 2008, more than $500 billion were gambled on the visual marketing industry, without a reliable logical system that had foresight of what individuals or groups wanted to see, backing the bets. In other words, every single year, $500 billion were invested around the world into design, with designers' personal intuitions as the primary hope for return on investment. Up to this day, this process has remained one of the grandest gambles in the world. Naturally, many clients loved the designs the agency created for them at first sight. In those cases, the agency actually made a higher profit on the project than it would have if charging per hour. However, there were also clients who would want as many as 10 or 20 complete revisions prior to accepting any design as final. In these cases, the agency made far less money than it would have if charging hourly, and in every rare case, it would actually lose money on a project. But the agency was keeping its reputation for design excellence and unlimited customer service at a guaranteed flat rate, delivering true 100% satisfaction, something that none of our direct competitors were willing to do. It dawned on me one day after reading one of the numerous advertising publications I would regularly read that something like visual targeting would not only be enormously helpful to my design and marketing agency, but it is a necessity to the entire world. An article struck me titled "Design in the Age of Accountability," expressing Microsoft's and Procter & Gamble's complaints with the entire design and advertising industry. Simply put, the major business players were growing sick and tired of investing billions into the subjective intuition of artists. They were publicly requesting that the industry find a way to systematically, controllably, consistently, and reliably find a way of making sure that design investments pay off on the company's bottom lines, consistently causing a powerful, positive return on investment. After all, to the clients, design is first and foremost a black and white business investment. And there's nothing wrong with that. This communication gap between the design and business world captured my attention, and the deeper I dug, the more I realized the apparent prominence, size, and importance of this unsolved problem. A client survey was performed inside the agency, and we saw that the almost unanimous number one reason people did business with us was, in their words, that we were able to speak both the language of design and the language of business, creating true synergy and profitability for them. I read Marty Neumeier's famous book, The Brand Gap, in which he eloquently explains exactly why designers and businessmen are not currently able to communicate in a way that is most profitable for the client's companies. Digging yet further, I saw that even the American Institute for Graphic Arts, the professional association for design, was saying the same things. That the design world demands a reliable process of consistently increasing clients' profits via design investments, and that innovation was needed. Soon, while reading a publication by the Advertising Research Foundation, it became clear that companies ranging from Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, Time Warner, New York Times, IBM, HBO, ABC, NBC, CBS, MTV, VH1, ESPN, Warner Brothers, Discovery Channel, General Mills, J.D. Power & Associates, Unilever, Cablevision, Media Trust, TNS Global, TiVo, Nielsen, Ford, Starcom, MediaVest, MySpace, Dish, YouTube, Condé Nast, and countless other business leaders around the entire world were asking for the same questions of the design industry. How do we systematically guarantee and maximize the returns on our visual design investments? Who, how, and when will the process exist that turns this billion-dollar-a-day gamble into a solid, predictably profitable investment? The answer is, in fact, visual targeting. Developed in secrecy for years by a global team of dozens of experts in various professional arenas ranging from statistics, software development, and psychological testing to advertising, visual design, marketing research, behavioral marketing, and consumer choice behavior, visual targeting is the only innovation in the world that is proven to increase visual advertising performance by quickly discovering any individual's or specific target market's exact visual response patterns and psychological visual preferences in advance prior to any design investment. Using various proprietary technologies protected by international patent laws and trade secret algorithms that analyze how human visual preferences steer consumer choice behavior in the marketplace, visual targeting has been proven at the highest level of scientific reliability to raise bottom-line quantifiable advertising results such as click-through rates and television ratings by up to 1,000%, multiplying ad profitability by up to 10 times. To make all this simple, think of it in the following terms. As you look around your current environment, you see various colors. You see shapes, textures, and you see countless other visual elements. There may be a rectangular desk in front of you, or an oval conference room table, or your car may look a certain way if you're driving and listening to this. If you're indoors, the walls around you might have patterns on them, and you may have hardwood floors of a certain color and texture. There may be curtains hanging that have stripes on them, with thin stripes contrasting bold ones. You may have a circular watch around your wrist, or an elaborate ornamental Persian rug on your floor. There may be a couch of a certain shape and color, or a television with a certain logo on it. Maybe your lighting fixtures are tall as they stand on the floor, or there might be a specific piece of art hanging on the wall. With or without your knowledge, your visual surroundings are constantly influencing your emotions. Their effects are either positive or negative, and everything you think and experience in your visual environment is being filtered through these altered emotions. Visual targeting works because it finds out which basic visual elements make us feel our best, and we gravitate toward those designs that match our unique visual tastes. Simply, we choose what we like. This book is meant to be a short, quick listen. After you're done with it, you will begin to understand a new industry, a new science, a new art, and a new proprietary technology. One that is emerging in this world, and one that harnesses the power of attraction more profoundly and powerfully than any other. As you hear the stories that follow, you will gradually understand. Chapter 2, General Warning. There is nothing more powerful than the power of attraction. It draws us toward every choice we make in life. Understanding its workings is both highly interesting and highly influential. In the wrong hands, this information can become globally dangerous. Writers, philosophers, and forecasters have written that the role personal computing played in the 20th century, visual design will play in the 21st. That beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that the perception of beauty causes decisions to be made illogically, and even that beauty will save the world. While they may disagree on its value, they all agree on the power of beauty and the strength of attraction. We must understand that by tapping into and harnessing the power of visual attraction, it is imperative to base our actions on morally sound ground. It is imperative to keep the emotional, invisible, and transvisible qualities of our actual offerings to the world at the highest level of integrity that is possible. Because at the end of the day, quality separates those who manipulate from those who serve the world in the most ethical way. And the manipulators find themselves lonely and frustrated. It is simply irresponsible and socially criminal to use these powers in a manipulative fashion, whereby one would attract someone else to something that is inherently abusive. Because what happens is that the attractee, whether it be your secret crush or your target market, will be irresistibly bound to whatever it is that they end up buying from you. And they will never fully understand why they like it so much. If the quality is not first class, they will have to struggle to break away from it. So do the world a favor and make it better, not worse. My general warning to the world, as the author of this book and the founder of VisualTargeting, is that I ask its readers and its users to use this power with responsibility and honesty for the genuine betterment of the world and the life of the individuals who live in it. Please use this power with integrity. Make the world better with it. Chapter 3, Aphrodite meets Ares. Aphrodite meets Ares. Love at first sight. Inseparable. Ares feels perfect for Aphrodite, and Aphrodite feels perfect for Ares. Their attraction is unfathomable. Their desire, unstoppable. Their love, unparalleled. Their legacy, eternal. This is the ideal story of love, as often envisioned by society. This is the story of attraction. This is the story of almost every man and woman on the planet. Every day, every hour, every instant. Attraction. It is that which serves as a magnet to bring us toward the other. We all know what happens when an irresistibly gorgeous person walks into a room. The whole room feels it. A crowd surrounds him or her. Gossip spreads amongst the viewers. Various forms of admirers court the individual in their various ways. Some with flattery, others with friendship, and the winners with an even higher level of attraction. It is easy to disregard these words as shallow. It is easy to say that they are superficial, that looks do not matter, and that it is quality that really counts, whether it comes to people, products, ideas, or beliefs. However, it has been proven in numerous research and case studies across the globe by countless companies and individuals such as celebrities, who are often admired for their visual appearance, that while it is undeniably true that quality is what is most important, and the beauty on the inside of anything is what is most important, it is nonetheless also undeniably true that the way that any package looks, the way that any person dresses, the way any dream home is designed, and the way that any perfect sports car is shaped, creates an instant force of attraction that almost blocks rational thinking, and it lays down the foundation from its first impression of pure irresistibility. Aphrodite meets Ares. Nice story, really. But have we ever looked at it? Have we ever asked any of the following questions? Why did they fall in love? Why were they so attracted to each other in the first place? What were their visual preferences? Did Aphrodite prefer tall men or shorter men? And which was Ares? Did Ares prefer blondes or brunettes? And which was Aphrodite? What were Aphrodite's favorite colors? And what were the colors of Ares' eyes? What were Ares' favorite shapes? And what were the shapes of the curves on Aphrodite's body? What style of dress did Aphrodite wear? Was it simple, or was it complex in its design? And what were Ares' psychological visual preferences toward visual simplicity or complexity? Now this list goes on. The questions are never asked. In the case of Ares and Aphrodite, they really needn't be. But there are many other cases in which society, individuals, and companies can benefit vastly from filtering their visual presentations to those who they intend to entice through the prism of visual appeal and through the art of attraction. It is indisputable that we are attracted to that which we find attractive. Therefore, if we would want to attract someone, wouldn't it be wise to be perceived by that person as attractive? The same applies to corporate design, advertising, marketing, and everything else. Visual targeting unveils what we, both as individuals and as groups, find most attractive. It's really that simple. Chapter 4, The Art of Attraction. Visual targeting is the proprietary art of attraction. It is the proven science that uncovers subconscious psychological visual preferences and response patterns that steer our everyday choices of people, products, and ideas. You do not think about it consciously, but it is always guiding your decisions. Each individual has a unique set of specific visual preferences, shapes, colors, and many other visual elements which cause the person to feel good, to feel attracted to whatever it is that is being shown to him or her. Visual targeting is a unique, patented, proprietary technology that harnesses these powers of understanding how to be most visually appealing in the eyes of any desired individuals, groups, audiences, or target markets. For example, a map from a research study that can be found at VisualTargeting.com shows different visual preferences amongst 5 areas of the United States and applies it to a simple case of selling mouthwash. If a company wanted to raise their mouthwash sales and profits, they could start by varying the shapes and colors of the actual packaging and product to match each target market's exact visual response patterns. For example, in the Northeast, they might use a vertical rectangular shade of dark blue. In the California region, they would use a vertical triangular shape with a greener turquoise-like mouthwash. Selling in Seattle, an oval with yellow mouthwash could sell more. Selling in Texas, one may be leaning toward a circular purple color. And in Florida, a triangular pink will get the job done better than any of the other options. The mouthwash stays the same, but its coloring and its packaging define its success in the marketplace. Another graph from a pilot research study that can be found at VisualTargeting.com shows the rate at which the probability that a person will choose a given advertisement rises in comparison to how well the ad's visual design matches the individual's visual preferences. By looking at bottom-line advertising effectiveness, specifically click-through rates, it becomes evident that the power of attraction through visual appeal is truly massive. In fact, your ability to match your specific audience's visual response patterns makes a difference between your audience never choosing your design and never clicking on your ad to nearly always choosing your design and always clicking on your ad. It is the difference between attraction and being repelled, between success at the highest imaginable level and utter failure. The impacts of this philosophy, one that believes that people deserve to see that which they most desire to see, are far more widespread than this particular book will cover. However, by looking at not only the differences in people's visual preferences, but the impact they have on individuals' choices, we open a Pandora's box of sorts that may never be closed, and for very good and noble reasons. As you continue listening to the stories in this book, you will see how easily and powerfully the art of attraction can improve both your business and your personal life, as well as our world as a whole. Chapter 5. Impacts on Businesses. Global Motion Picture Corporation is producing the next epic movie and wants to make it more profitable than ever before. They decide to use the patented and scientifically proven visual targeting technology to test 1 million people in different parts of the world, and thus they find out exactly which unique visual elements appeal most to each market and sub-market. Relying on the scientific results, they designed 50 billboards for the movie, each visually targeted at specific markets in specific locations. The movie goes on to set new box office profit records worldwide. It is clear to see that harnessing attraction via visual targeting creates tremendous financial advantages for corporations of any size. Everything from the designs of their conference rooms where they meet their clients, to their business cards, logos, brand identities, products, packaging designs, collateral materials, websites, print ads, billboards, television and online ads, movies, uniforms, and all other visual stimuli that they show to their customers and prospects can be drastically improved in terms of its effect on bottom-line business profits by simply aligning its look with the visual preferences of those people who are meant to feel their very best while surrounded by it. A customer who feels that a company resonates with him or her and increases positive feelings will prefer that company over its other competitors. Visual targeting makes visual design investments consistently profitable. It can be used both prior to creating designs, as described in the previous story, or after designs have already been commissioned, approved, and produced to discover various new unknown markets for your products, advertisements, and all other designs, as illustrated in the following story. Clear Vision Sunglass Corporation has 50 new sunglass designs that have never been marketed before. They are already an established brand with decades of marketing experience. They want to make their next product launches be record-breaking in their shareholders' and company's profits. They test each of the 50 designs using visual targeting, and they discover exactly what kind of people, where in the world, down to the zip codes and cities, will like each of their designs most. Armed with this priceless information, they present each design directly to the market that is most likely to buy it and set record-breaking profits using existing designs. By visually targeting anyone from mass markets to specific niche markets to individual customers, businesses have an almost endless selection of ways to increase their profits and returns on advertising and design investments, both from future and existing designs. Chapter 6. Impact on Individuals. James is in love with Angela. They have been dating for several years, and every time he takes her out, at least 3 other men approach her. While he is handsome and successful, and she is honest and loyal, he wants to make things more official. James wants to marry Angela. However, being human, James is a little worried about the proposal. He fears her saying no and shattering his heart. He wants to be sure that he does everything in his power to hear a yes. James decides to find out Angela's visual preferences, at least to help him choose the perfect diamond engagement ring. After all, there are thousands of designs out there, and he's heard that women care about their engagement rings. One night, he inconspicuously asks Angela to take the fun, fast, and free psychological visual preference test at styletest.com so that they can compare results. He sees that she prefers circular shapes, the color blue, large sizes, and complex designs. So, he buys her a ring with a large circular diamond with various complex cuts on it, the ring on this book's cover. He puts on a blue shirt, and he proposes. Angela accepts with tears of joy as she sees the ring that she has always wanted handed to her by her perfect man. The art of attraction is not useful merely for expensive corporate goals. It is not merely for big companies to make big billboards to attract big markets full of big dollars. The art of attraction and the proprietary technology of visual targeting is rather a lever of happiness. It is a concrete way to increase biophilia, which is a Greek word for one's love of life. It has been proven that when patients who are healing are surrounded by visually attractive pictures of nature, for example, like oceans, waterfalls, and beaches, they heal faster than patients who don't see pleasant visual stimuli in their setting. It has been shown that wearing the colors that you like most makes you happier. Biophilia, our love of life, is arguably the most important thing in any individual's presence here on Earth. For happiness is one of the main points of existence, and happiness improves anyone's existence. For example, Jimmy is 7 years old. It's Mother's Day. Jimmy doesn't have much money to buy his mom something that he feels is meaningful, so he makes her a card himself. Before making the card, Jimmy goes online to styletest.com and discovers his mom's psychological visual preferences. When Jimmy presents his childlike but elaborate card to his mother, she feels not only the love and care of her son through another piece of his art, but she sees something in the card that she could not put words to. She feels that it resonates with her entire being. It just looks right to her. It just feels great, and she can't put her finger on it. That card makes her day extraordinary. She puts it in her favorite frame and hangs it in her bedroom. It hangs there for the rest of her life, bringing a smile to her face for years to come. There are countless ways of harnessing the art of attraction on the individual level, and visual targeting can help you bring joy to the lives of every person around you and those closest to you. By finding out the visual tastes of the people you want to appeal to, whether they are your crush, your boss, a recipient of a gift, a family member, a friend, and so forth, you give yourself the opportunity to make that person happier, and that feeling will rub off on you in all the right ways. Chapter 7. Author's Remarks. Times Square, Marquis Marriott Hotel, 4 a.m. I look out from a bird's eye view over the very heart of advertising. I am astonished that at 4 a.m., after 6 hours of watching people coming and going, sitting, relaxing, standing, kissing, photographing, videotaping, laughing, and smiling. There's still a crowd in the streets. No, there's no event. No, there's no speech. And no, a Hollywood movie isn't being filmed in the heart of New York City. All the comedy houses, restaurants, and playhouses are already closed. Yet, there are still crowds and crowds of exhilarated people sitting in the middle of Times Square, hand in hand, enjoying their lives to the fullest. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, and everyone around and in between, together as one, have gathered to really do one thing: to be surrounded by advertising. I think for a moment, if the lights turned off on all those hundreds of ads, not a single person would be here, even if the streetlights stayed on. There's nothing but an intersection and a concrete square field with several dozen places to sit. And yet Times Square is jam-packed for weeks. And night after night, I watch this show. Day after day, the streets get crowded. And as if a looping film, night after night, they remain crowded. Why are they here? Why is everybody here? Okay, during the days there are stores. In the evening, restaurants and entertainment. But at night, there's just advertising. And they all love it. And then comes the weekend, and something truly magnificent happens. The police block off the streets. They make Times Square even larger. They make a literal square. There's no traffic at all. There's now an entire concrete area that's spanning blocks and blocks of space, surrounded by police, in a good way, and the government has put out beach chairs. Yes, dozens and dozens of beach chairs for the ad-watching tourists. And the biggest irony of all is that every one of the beach chairs is actually filled. Here I am, sitting at the Marquis Marriott Hotel, looking over Times Square, the international heart of advertising, where people come from all over the world just to have their pictures taken, just to say they've seen it, to say they've been to New York, and you know you haven't been to New York if you haven't seen Times Square. And here is the weekend. Central Park is all but empty. Yes, I actually checked. Yet Times Square, a concrete, blocked-off area of pavement with beach chairs on them, is jam-packed with exhilarated people watching advertising. In a pleasantly refreshing shock, I started to laugh, because it really is beautiful. Then, I realized that I must write this book. See, after years of discovery, research, patenting, inventing, investing, testing, refining, and perfecting visual targeting, I must admit, even I was a bit confused for a while. I had always agreed with the saying that giving up is way harder than trying. Nor had I any intention of abandoning such a pure and immensely powerful project when I could already see the destination approaching. And yet, I was talking to countless people who considered themselves very wise, and felt that the concept of visual attraction causing tangible results on businesses' bottom-line profits, or in the lives of individuals, was a wishful, preposterous concept. And most of what I would get for years and years since that mahogany wood chair comforted me at the Washington City Club was snide snickers, smirks, and laughs, and comment after comment saying, well, it's certainly not going to work. Visual design can't really be that influential. But if it does work, well, then it's genius. See, I knew the second part was true. At least I sensed it was. But I couldn't understand why it was only obvious to me that it would indeed work. Then a world-famous venture capital firm in Silicon Valley, the heart of technology, says, okay, it sounds incredible. If you bring us scientific proof that it works, if you show us that it can increase advertising performance by as much as 14%, we'll give you $3 million. So naturally, I set out to build a specialized global team of PhDs, MBAs, SCDs, and other pertinent research experts, and they tested it out exactly the way that venture capital firm asked it to be tested. Does it work? It was nerve-wracking. I didn't know. What if it didn't work? What if I just threw away years of my life? Well, guess what? It worked. And it worked absolutely magnificently. In fact, it increases advertising performance by up to 1,000%. It'll multiply people's attraction by 10 times or more. And that can be translated into either diamond rings or business profits, whichever you prefer. Now I knew that it works for major businesses and markets and the world. That it can indeed be massively influential in spreading ideas and appealing to people anywhere from the individual to the mass levels. And yet, it has taken this expert team an entire year to prove it. And within that year, the world took a 180-degree turn from economic stability to a global Great Recession. Suddenly, the entire world seemed scared. The very same venture capitalists said, "Wow, it really is amazing. But you know what? Right now we're in the middle of a global recession, and we're staying away from anything to do with advertising. We want to see how the markets go." Suddenly, Yahoo's visual advertising profits fall 1,000% in the first quarter of 2009. And then things just keep getting worse. Banks start closing. Industries begin to collapse. Everyone is losing, and the media makes it sound like the apocalypse is here. Now, thankfully, I have found ways along the journey of financing this voyage that meet its requirements, and I don't need the venture capitalists anymore. However, I can't help but begin to wonder, what is the point of all this? Have I forgotten why I started? Why, in that mahogany wood chair, I decided to embark on this voyage? I knew in my heart that I am not, but I can't remember why this matters. And then I see, right before my eyes, thousands of people gathered from all over the world, 24 hours a day, to watch advertising in Times Square. I remember that more than $500 billion are gambled every single year on visual design. I remember all the masses of enormous corporations who are asking for a solution to this gamble. And now I see, in the very heart of advertising, on Times Square, that it matters even to the individual. I see that visual design, in many ways, is our world. That what we see is what we get, as the saying goes. And as you look around yourself right now, as this book comes to an end, your current visual environment is influencing your mood, your thoughts, and your actions in ways that you don't even know. I realize at this point that every company and every individual and every organization, including myself, owes it to themselves, to humanity, and to the world to increase our combined biophilia, our love of life, to improve society's happiness, and to help relieve this world of crisis, of our global depressions and great recessions, to surround ourselves and those around us with visual environments that are known and proven to bring us all joy. Not only is it profitable, both financially and in terms of receiving intangible results from those we love, but it is the only responsible option. We rely on the art of attraction, and attraction guides our lives, whether we want it to be that way or not. For the first time in the history of the world, it is now possible to harness this art and this power through VisualTargeting's proprietary set of psychological solutions. We owe it to ourselves to become better artists in the art of attraction. I ask you sincerely that you use this information only in honorable, virtuous, and honest ways. And in that light, may you receive all that you desire.